a.m. on Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. You're in the programming of price action trading in the S&P 500 E-mini. Put up an S&P 500 E-mini chart. Be ready to receive Saul's proprietary scalping levels, the areas he believes the market will make change, or the zones that he believes the market's going to make change. And he can look to capitalize on that change by putting trades on based on a market theory, a market technique called price action trading. Price action trading has been around for a long time. It's where the rubber meets the road. Where the rubber meets the road at the price level and the change of price. And in this case, you have the advantage, and you can judge for yourself, the advantage of having Saul's levels already plotted and mapped out on your software. The failure rate in trading is pretty darn high, whether it happens slowly or over a period of time. We're hoping that you can pick up a lot from the service as it relates to consistent profitability by utilizing this service on a daily basis or when you can attend to be able to get better levels, which are given out by Saul as his levels, and the commentary in and around those areas as Saul goes about his trading. I think it's important to note that Saul is at risk. He is scalping trading the S&P 500 E-mini for his own trading account. He's also teaching and mentoring a select group of traders in his intensive. And he also has this monthly service for those that are really interested in focusing on making money and learning a technique that they can make their own. And it starts out with coming in as a guest, welcome guests. It's about finding us from all sorts of different areas out there in the, I don't know if you call it the Ethernet or the internet or whatever's going on out there now. And Elon Musk is coming out with his Starlink, which I think is going to really spread the world out if it works and works as, I guess, as touted. I'm not sure if he has all these satellites up yet. I have to do a little research because I think that that's really going to be able to spread the population based on having good internet access wherever you are or wherever you happen to be. I think it has some size to it in a dish and that type of thing, but I think that will also get smaller and better. And it should just follow you around on your phone, or on your computer. You shouldn't really have, but I'm sure that's the next step. But anyway, I digress. So this is a concentration and effort on doing 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, doing those trades based on a price action trading strategy, focusing on Saul's areas that he identifies for himself for this morning's trade, and we'll do it again tomorrow morning and then the following morning. And it's really interesting because focus and discipline and being able to utilize a trading strategy based on price action where you can critique or be critiqued based on your entries, exits, and stops in and around an area or a level, which is an enormous advantage for you coming in here as a student of trading looking to develop consistent profitability. I can't stress that enough, is that when you randomize your trading, in other words, where you just come in and trade based on standardized software and you pay attention to indicators or charts or crosses, time frames, all the stuff that everybody else is doing out there, you have in my humble opinion, a disadvantage because standardized trading software and all the lagging bells and whistles are a false friend. And then you have the traffic jam of all these people coming in and beating on the market at particular areas that are standardized and well known and ticking on their screens. So they all rush into the traffic jam and then they get all caught up and then they have to remove themselves from it because they're losing money based on being stopped out. And then the market goes where you thought it was going to go. Because people are pretty smart. I mean, you're all very smart. You know, you're using your brain and how your mind works to try to make money by sitting in front of a computer and learning to trade. So what is different here is that Sal's been trading for 25 years or so. He's actively scalping the market based on this um, trading methodology, and he is showcasing it and willing to share it with you. And he has his potentially has his arm around your shoulder, and he is teaching you his methodology and critiquing you and tweaking you based on this methodology. So think about that. If you have a discipline where you are laying out levels, you're loading them into your software, you're letting the market come to you based on price movement, you assess the market based on, well, actually, I said one ahead of the other, right? So you receive the levels, you load them into your software. If you don't know how to do that, join the family and certainly we'll spend some time with you and show you how to do that. You load them into your software, then what do? You wait and the market opens. The cash market opens up at 9:30 in about 4 minutes. So Sal's going to be jumping in soon, so I will speed it up. So the action of price after the opening bell has to be assessed based on your risk profile for today's trade. How many contracts? How's the market behaving? Momentum and follow through. Then there is the market price change coming into a level. What do you do? Why do you do it? Why do you not do it? And then the action of entries, exits, and stops. Now you bundle that together into a price action strategy, and then you have the ability to have it critiqued based on what you're doing well or what you still need to work on. And then come back and do it on the next trade based on the tweaking and the adjustment based on a trading technique that can be learned. And as Saul says, everybody's different, everybody's risk tolerance is different, everybody thinks a little bit differently. People end up developing their own utilizing price action trading, their own way of getting in and getting out of a trade that becomes unique to you based on an innate sense. Coming into an area, there's your level. How's the market doing? Am I short or long? Where do I enter price? Where do I exit? What's my exit plan based on looking for 2 points plus? And I emphasize the plus. And generally, you have a 2-point stop, but the 2-point stop floats a little bit based on momentum, follow through, and price action of that day. So that's what you learn. That's what the opportunity is. That's why people pay and stay. You start out from guest, you go in, you pay for Sal's monthly. Then you can have a trading consultation, which is great. And then you find out if you want to take Sal's course or his mentoring work based on his private intensive. So that's what happens here on a daily basis. It's your opportunity to take or not take. And believe me, we get people come through that don't take. You know, sometimes I wonder because they want to do it on their own or, you know, they do come back. It happens pretty often where they've lost all their money and then come back saying, wow, I wish I had done something. But
All right,
that's
good
another
morning.
story.
Good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me all right? All right. Let's give you our levels for this morning. Our pivot this morning is 38.98. Resistance at 03, 10, 16, 23. Support below at 92, 85, 79, 73. Pivot 98, support 92, 85, 79, 73. Resistance on the upside at 03, 10, 16, and 23. Market coming off these highs from overnight, and just trying to see what it wants to do here. Again, yesterday's, it's still rallying. It's still on the highs here. We're at a 39 handle basically, as we quickly open up here and get up here to testing our 02, 3 area. We'll see what it wants to do. Maybe not. So welcome to trading mini S&Ps here on, well, I used to be from the Florida Exchange, but because of COVID, we've had to adjust where our area of coming out with our broadcast is coming out from, which is my basement. So there, if you look at the chat box area, there you have the levels shown to you, and that way these are levels we can use as a guiding post all day long to kind of help us with our trades. And then once the market paints some bars, we use the price action opportunities that the market presents to us for other opportunities to trade. It's a combination of using the levels that we give out in addition to the price action opportunities that might occur, and together we put together a methodology that helps us scalp the market, because we don't believe markets go straight up or straight down. Consequently, we're looking for the opportunities, those inflection points that give us opportunities to scalp for about 2 to 3 points on the trades, depending on volatility. That's where we're at. And we came up here to 02 area. It's kind of hanging here, see what it wants to do. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to ask, especially some of the new folks that are here. We like questions, especially if you've never been trading futures before. It's an interesting place to trade. It's difficult. It's not easy, but every day is a new day. That's what the challenge is here as we look at the day. I can't tell you that one day is going to be the same as the next. You never know when the opportunities are going to present themselves. And so that's the dynamic about this business that's so interesting, exciting, and fun, but at the same time very risky. If we can figure out how to at least make a little bit of profit, or on a continuous basis, then you're going to be a very happy person, obviously. Hi, we're just butting up here against our 03, depending on how you're scaling in. If you are trying to see what it wants to do, as it comes up here now to the 03 area. Again, if you're a little bit risk averse and you don't like to trade the first couple bars in the morning, because it's a little bit riskier than some of the other opportunities that we have, that's fine. Just be a little bit patient. You just never know which way the momentum is going to take the trade off the morning. That's always the the question. That's but we don't know, and that's why we just trade, right? We just take whatever the market gives us and keep your stops in place, and that way, you're not going to get hurt. You're going to try to take opportunities here when the market presents itself. On the upside or the downside, Don? I'm joking. You do have large targets every now and then. All right, nice rotation here off of our 03 resistance area. If you were able to partake at all, you got a little bit of a nice rotation. Again, we're looking for about 2 points. We got right up to 03, coming back down here to the 01 area. And we were trying to just take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market, 2 to 3 points on our trades, depending on the volatility. At least the first couple bars, if you get it, your 2 points, you take it. And you look for the next thing. You never know when, like I said, a little extra volatility comes into the market right off the morning. So you take what the market gives you, and we'll look for the next opportunity. Let me see if we have, hang on a second, see if we have any numbers coming out this morning that might affect us during the course of the morning. Nothing much, nothing. No, whoa. Well, in case you didn't get the 03 before, and you got the 03 now, and that was exciting. Just in case you were wondering. All right, so nice rotation there off of our 03 area. Nice fill on the bottom end. All right, so our first level worked out very nicely here for us. Again, we're just trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market and take advantage of whatever those ebbs and flows might be against our support and or resistance. In this case, we had resistance up here at 03, and it floated back down quickly down to 0.5. So hopefully you're able to sell the 03 area and take advantage of a little rotation off of that to give us a little scalp. That's what we're called scalping the market. We don't have position trades. We're not looking for home runs. We're just kind of taking advantage of whatever the market gives us. Sometimes it gives us a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, and sometimes it doesn't give us at all, but it's there, and that's what we try to do here. We're just trying to trade. Usually markets move up on fundamentals, earnings, geopolitical situations. It's nice to see that the market is coming and trading down to back down about the earnings versus all the stimulus that's out there. Obviously, this rally right now is on the back of some stimulus opportunities that the government might finally pass. And then, like I said last week, one day I said, you never know what's going to happen after that bill gets passed. Are we going to, is that going to be it? Are we going to like it? Is the market going to like it? How is it going to react from it? Is it one of those trades where you say, buy the rumor and sell the fact? Who knows? But obviously the amount, and if it's put into the right place, I guess, is, will help the market. Well, it will help GDP, right? I mean, that's what it's there to do. You help the GDP number, that helps expansion. It's going to be good for the economy. Blah blah blah. So on and so forth. That's a theory behind it. Sometimes the theory doesn't match up with the reality, but you never know. All right, so you can see here we had a little bit of resistance against the 03. We had a nice rotation off of it. Well, coming back down here, we don't have any numbers coming out here. So we'll see what the market can give us this morning or not. You never know. Global stock markets are still in upbeat mode after U.S. benchmarks set fresh records yesterday. Investors have a renewed confidence that a new round of stimulus spending will bolster U.S. economy while upbeating earnings for large U.S. multinationals have claimed calmed some of the anxiety over the manic GameStop Reddit trading. More than 80% of the companies have reported results so far have beaten consensus expectations. It's a lot, but not surprising. In Asia, Shanghai rose, Hong Kong, Hang Seng increased, and Nikkei went up. Everybody's happy. Euro stocks are mixed. The oil continues to rally. Brent crude is up 0.5% as the market kind of rotates back down here a little bit. The next support level on the downside we have is 92. Probably, if you're a little aggressive here, maybe you're taking our pivot first time to it, but looks like there's a little momentum here coming over it. We'll see. It all depends on how aggressive you are, and just keep your stop in no matter what. All right, 92, next support level. U.S. stock futures are a little lower this morning. Intriguing reports due out today include updates from DuPont on cash flow, Twitter on potential subscriber offering, and Lyft on efforts to set up delivery businesses. As the market continues to downtick, we're looking at the 92 area as a little support. Anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. If we can repeat the levels in the chat box area, if those of you who have come in a little late, the levels are going to be up in the chat box area for you to look at. And those are the levels that we gave out this morning when before we started trading. And hopefully that'll give us a guide as to our trading as the day goes on. And we add to those, take away from those, depending on the volatility. And once the market paints some bars. So we're always at the mercy of the market. And again, we always kind of let the market tell us what to do. That is what our objectives are here. We're not trying to create trades out there. We're just going to take our direction from the market and let the market tell us what our next trades are going to be. So welcome to some of the new folks that are here. And again, if you look at the chat box area there, you have the levels that are in that we use, like I said, as a guide going forward. We did go up to our 03 resistance area and floated off of it very nicely. So it gave us a nice opportunity there to scalp the market. And again, so we are just trying to find those levels that the market will give us an opportunity to scalp, resistance, support. And again, like I said, there's always price action opportunities that occur. Everything that we talk about here is a taught experience. We're actually trying to, in our education course, give you the opportunity to become an independent trader. And that's basically the objective of the course, to find the levels on your own, to find the opportunities to trade on your own, and to understand the risk, and also to understand how and when to trade and when not to trade, because it's also an objective here. Sometimes you have to not trade, right? You have to know when to trade for sure, and then sometimes if the market gets a little bit too aggressive for you, you got to throttle back and wait, and maybe sometimes you have to trade less. There's always adjustments here because there's so many opportunities and so many different risk tolerances that everybody has. So everybody's not the same. So we drifted down to 95, and we had a 92, and it came back up here. So kind of just chopping around here on both sides of our pivot a little bit and see what it wants to do. No really strong opinion one way or the other. We just kind of look and see what the market does against our levels, and then we'll see if once the market paints some bars, we get other opportunities to help us. So Tesla said that it wants to buy Bitcoin. They said that they made a $1.5 billion investment into Bitcoin. So they've been buying it for months, right? And then they announce to the public, oh, we're going to accept Bitcoin, and we bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes up like 20% or something like that, or 10, 15, whatever, right? Something wrong with that picture? Does anybody see anything wrong with that picture? Just saying. Why didn't they say before they bought Bitcoin that they were going to buy Bitcoin and then put it out to the market? But let's say, let's buy it first, and then we'll announce it, and then we'll see what happens. Well, what do you think is going to happen? Just saying. I don't know. These guys throwing around a lot of money, right? Just tons and tons. It went up 20% yesterday. And, or is it today? Who knows? I mean, so it was 1.5 just turned into almost 2 billion. All because he said it after the fact. It's not bad. I can't do that. I can't say I'll get short position and all of a sudden I put out the word A. I think the market's going down. Oh, let's all sell. Nobody's going to listen to me. Just saying. All right. Come back up here. Go retest the 03. So obviously we're not going to take it to level once the level's been, we've profited from it or used it, profited or not. And if you're aggressive, maybe you take it again. But if you're most of us, you don't. We could be range bound here. Actually, who knows? Next level on the upside, we have resistance is the 10 area. Anybody have any questions? Chat box areas where you should type them in. I only get to see them. Maybe Brad, if you put it to panelists. If you go to panelists and all attendees, then everybody gets to see it. So you don't have to do it your own way, whichever way you want. All right. Well, it's just range bound, as you can see. Very unexciting. No economic news coming out today, so that's kind of boring. It's just like at least for the time being, the market is just kind of slowly getting up to levels and then trying to figure out where the next area is going to be, and they get up to another level and just until they finally decide to. Well, it just seems that this is what happens with the rally market. It's just a slow market. You get to a level, sells off, takes some profits, gets to a new level, sells off, take a little. But the trend is still up, as you can see. Again, but we don't trade that way. All we're trying to do is take advantage of opportunities intraday as the market bounces around, and we're trying to take advantage of those opportunities that the market presents themselves. We're scalping the market, basically. There's other ways if you want to position trade long term. I don't suggest you do it in your trading account. You can open another account and position trade that way. It's tough to position trade in the same account you're scalping. It's not probably the wisest thing to do, simply because you're going to have bias, right? One way or the other. And if you have a position in your trading account with that same bias, well, you're going to trade that bias no matter what. But if you can separate the two, and if you, like I said, if you want a position trade, which means your stops are greater, or maybe your stops would be at the end of the day. You don't have any stops until the end of the day comes around. Like I said, there's all types of different ways to trade. There isn't one right way or one wrong way. There's opportunities here, one way or the other. And we just try to put together a methodology that takes advantage of these ebbs and flows. And obviously, we have to show some patience in our trades as well. You are picking really tight spots there, Don. You are really bored today. All right, we continue to uptick here. Next level of resistance we have is up at 10. Obviously, you have to be a little bit patient. The market continues to uptick here. Yeah, I mean, it's just it looks like it's a nervous market, and it just doesn't feel like it knows where it wants to go one way or the other, which is fine. All we're here to do is, if you're patient. I mean, we had our O3 triggered and we had a nice little rotation off of that. We would have liked the 92 to get snapped up, but it only went down to 95 and popped back up. And now we're just kind of hanging. Trying to uptick here again. Next level of resistance we have is up at 10. And could you have bought it anywhere? I don't know. Maybe you could have made a case if you want to get long. I'm just. Is it nice and cold over here? Cold doesn't justify the frigid temperatures. Cold is just too easy of a word, just too nice a word. There's cold, and then there is cold. We're definitely in the second category of cold. I mean, it's cold. Don't I like the cold? Oh no, I don't like cold. Well, we are temperature this morning around my house is like -2, but not too far away. -2 Fahrenheit. The not too far away in Aurora, which is maybe 50 miles away from here, a little bit west, is -10. That's a little too cold. But the wind chill makes it even worse. So yes, there's always a wind chill. And I hate the cold. I tolerate the cold. I'm definitely a warm-blooded individual. Do not like cold. Yeah. So the weird thing was, usually we're right butting up against Lake Michigan, and usually it's thanks Don, 75 here in Texas, 80 in Florida, 85 in California. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you sharing. Appreciate sharing all that information with me. And you all funny. Funny thing is, you all like do it one after. All of you did it one after the other. Wow, you guys are the best. You guys are so sweet. I never got into the winter sports thing, skiing or snowmobiling, or to me, to go skiing and to have create more wind chill, to me doesn't make any sense. Like, again, obviously, I've heard that when you go skiing, you work up a sweat, but it's all right. I'm fine. I think I can. I'll just wait till this period of frigidness gets past, and we'll just, like I said, March is always the turning point for me. Well, if you get to March 1st, spring is here, no matter what. Even if it snows, or even if it gets cold, usually it doesn't stick around that much because it's March. We're going to get a nice, average temperature. Highs go up to the 40s. So even if you're 10, 20 degrees below that, 30s or 20s, which right now 20s will take. We're not looking for a high of 20 around here for at least a week. So that's warmth. And this is why you get used to this weather here in Chicago. Well, you don't get used to -10, but you feel this weather when you go out. And then when it gets to like 30 degrees or 40 degrees, you're wearing shorts, man. You are wearing shorts outside. So this is why you appreciate Chicago weather, because of the fact that when it gets to 40, it's like balmy and summery, and you can go golfing as long as the snow melts. Now switch that around. You get 40s in September or December after warmth of summer. It's really cold, but you get 40s after -10 with the -20 degree wind chill. It's like summer. Feel great outside. Did the hedgehog see its shadow? It came out. I don't know. I mean, that's got to be the stupidest thing ever. But whatever. And they were actually talking. They were doing it virtual, and there's this guy talking to this hedgehog or whatever, this hog thing. I mean, he's talking to him like he's his buddy. I'm like, okay, why don't you just tell him to stay out or to go in, whatever. It's like, yeah, groundhog, exactly. He's like talking to him like a human being, like his buddy. Like, all right. So I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. If he went back in his his groundhog cave, or if he stayed out and hung out with his new adult friend. I don't know. All I know is this: it is freaking cold outside. If you were a little aggressive, maybe you did trade our green band there. Could have been maybe short there at the 06 area a little bit earlier if you did. But that's only if you were a little aggressive. Do you have trouble starting your car? If your battery is old, I will say that the car will not turn over right away. But we had that a couple years ago. My wife's car needed it didn't turn over, and she needed a new battery. And once you get the new battery, you are good to go. Especially these days. So I was last year, I was driving to my poker game before COVID, and I stopped by, and I always get a couple drinks at the gas station, not those kind of drinks, just soft drinks. And so I stopped by to pick up a couple drinks, and so I pull over and I get out of my car, turn it off like usual, and go inside, pick up my soft drinks, come back, my car is dead. Completely, positively dead. And I'm like, whoa, this never happened to me before. And I have a hybrid, and I guess a hybrid, not only does it have its main, big battery that but it also has like a regular battery, that like every car does. So it has two batteries, one for the main thing, and I didn't know. So I'm thinking. So one time, I opened up my hood and I'm trying to find the battery. Well, there's no battery to be found. I'm like, well, how the hell do you jump your car when it's a hybrid, because there's no battery in the engine in the front part of the car. And so I call Julie's cousin is a mechanic, so I call him up. He goes, well, where's your battery? I go, I don't know. It's not where it's supposed to be. All right, nice trade there, Robert. Robert traded our green band, and a nice rotation off of our green band. If you're a little aggressive, maybe you did take it. A little stoppage area there before the 10. The green band always kind of sometimes stops the trading there, and even though people are talking, they're also trading, so it's good. So I call his cousin, and he goes, "Have you never needed to jump your car?" I go, "No, I don't know. I have no idea. So this battery's in the trunk. It's like in the trunk. So I had, and then I've never seen it in the trunk before. So I'm like, I have no idea where it is. So then he goes, "Don't you have your your manual that comes with your car?" I go, "Yeah, I guess." It's like I never looked at it. Never had that problem. Sure enough, there it is in the trunk on the right side. You have to take away the panel, and it's like a regular battery that you usually put in the most cars in the old cars. I guess I don't know that you have in the front of your engine block. So of course, I needed to get a new battery. And of course, it's a hybrid battery, right? It's not just a regular battery. So they jack up the prices on that too. You just can't go buy a battery, a car battery for, I don't know, $100 or whatever it is. No, this one was $250 to get a battery for the car. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm good to go on my car. I got that a couple years ago. My wife got hers like last year. She had the same problem. She couldn't start the car in the garage, and but at least I knew where that battery was. And we got her jumped, and she went in, and they got her a new battery. So, yeah. So this whole story started off because somebody asked me, "Does your car start in this weather?" As long as your batteries are new. And battery technology has gotten a lot better. I can tell you that much, because when in the 80s, when I had one of my first cars, and we parked it outside. We did not have a garage, um, and it was cold, and sometimes that car did not start. So yeah, I get it. I mean, the question was asked by Don, so the guy still uses a flip phone, so that's why he knows that batteries have a little issue starting. And you're also in Texas. I'm sure they don't have the top of the line batteries there, that can handle minus 20, 10 degrees temperatures. O3 would be support. I'd probably look at the one area if you're looking for a little support area. A nice trade there against our green band. I figure those are a little aggressive. Don, you like the 550, so that worked out okay for you. That's a little. Can't ask him that question. It might be I don't know how you would do that, but we won't go there. Don, what's the lowest temperature it's ever gotten by you in Texas that you actually had to wear a coat? Do you even have a winter coat? I mean, what do you have a winter coat? I mean, the people in Florida and California, have fur coats. I could get it when it gets to like 40. They got the fur coat. 15. That's the coldest. Huh. Wow. I guess that's bad. I'd take 15 these days. I'll tell you that much. Normal is 35 to 42. Yeah, that's what it'll be here in March. That's what I'm looking forward to. You have a winter coat you pull out when you come to Chicago. Well, that's good. At least you got one handy. You're in Florida, right? Yeah. All right. Went down to one and change there. We said 01 support. Then bouncing back up here a little. Maybe some of you about the 02 scaling in. I mean, look, we're not going to be perfect. So we talk about a level. So consequently, we scale in around it, right? If I say 01 is your support, and we go down to 1.5 or 175, doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's a matter of how you scale into the level, right? I mean, I'm not trying to justify missing it by 3-4 ticks, but that's just the nature of the beast here. So we went down to the 1 area. When I say we have resistance around the 10 area, it's an area. It's like 9, 10, 11. Somewhere in that area the market's gonna, have a little resistance. How you get into it and how you trade it that's another story. That depends on everybody's risk tolerance and how many contracts you trade and what your objectives are, and that's a different story, which is okay. That's fine as long as we all understand, what you're all trying to achieve individually. That's great, and nothing wrong with understanding what your goals are every day, and how you handle risk every day. So again, some of the new folks that are here, please feel free to ask any questions that you might want or have. If you missed the levels, maybe we can print the levels in there they are in the chat box area. All right, slowly inching up here. Next level of resistance we have is the 10 area. The settlement price here is at 08, in case you are wondering what the settlement price is. And maybe some of you who are, for some odd reason, I don't know why, but some of the different platforms have different settlement prices, I guess, because of the different times that some of these platforms figure out. There's different times when these markets open and close, and so some take it at one close, and others take it at the other. I don't know why there's not some uniformity in this, but I'm not one to try to figure that out. Yeah, the S&P is on their website, and if you're looking for a settlement price, that's right. So, and we can always look at the settlement price on CME on their website, but But I mean, I think the ones that I give out, most of the platforms have the same one that I have here at 08 is the settlement price. Um, and some of your platforms it sticks out more. Some of them it doesn't. So yeah, so I don't know. It's just letting you know. So Maureen, that is a very beautiful picture. Yes, it is. Well, that's good there, Peter. So is mine. So we're good to go. At least we're on the same page there. And is that on the roof of your house? Wow. You got a lot of snow there. Do I always trade it? No, depending on the volatility. But you should look at it more often. Anybody have any questions? Chat box area, comments, telling me how much snow you got or how warm it is, depending on how mean you want to be. Always add on to the chat box thing, especially when the things are kind of slowish and we're just kind of waiting for opportunity. We don't try to create it. We kind of wait for. Am I bored? I don't know. You tell me. The trick is you always get bored sometimes when the markets are not moving around. The trick is not to trade when it's like this and be patient and wait for the opportunities. That's the trick. So if you can manage that, then you're way ahead of the game. So you get to share my boredness because I get to share it with you. And so that's fine as long as, maybe something happens. But we're stuck in a little bit of range. Yeah, and that's and sometimes there's something to talk about, and we can talk about it. But today, even my news emails are not excited. Yeah, definitely sitting on your hands is better than sitting on a losing trade. That's for sure. And we'll see. So we've come up here. We've double topped here right underneath our settlement price. We'll be a little bit careful there, looking at the 10 as the next good resistance area. I'm still trying to get over okay. All right, Maureen. You'll be back on Thursday. So well, we have our next class is scheduled for Wednesday. And maybe we'll try one for Friday if you want. If we can get it done Friday, maybe you can come and join us for that. Colorado's got to be better than that Michigan picture you sent me. Depending where in Colorado too, right? All right. And there's a fib area there that Robert put in. Alrighty. You know, when those 5-minute bars get really small like that, it does definitely tests your patience. When the hourly bars get tight like that, it's even worse. But like I said, you got to take the good with the bad. Yeah, well, there's always a slow grind when it goes up. That is a guarantee. Anybody got the VIX this morning? 21, 29, almost 22. Yeah, it's the handle's getting there. 21. Yeah, well, it's 22. I mean, we're rounding up here, but still, we like VIX in the high 20s. And that happens when the markets go down. I don't know why it doesn't happen when the markets go up. There's no volatility when the markets go up. Somebody said it's just a slow grind. Don said that it's really bad when you know where the market's going and you're still going to lose money. That's true. That's a frustrating day, right? I've had those days when I was staring. I could tell you honestly that I'm trading in the pit and I know the market's going up, and and at the end of the day, I'm like, I sold it all the way up. What kind of idiot am I? I knew it was going up too. I mean, that's what I'd be talking to myself like, how in the world did I do that all day long? It does happen. It's just nature of trading. You're just looking at one thing. You're just used to trading one way, and we try to find the opportunities differently. But just sometimes you just what you're trying to do and what the market is giving you are two different things. And sometimes the market gives you easy opportunities that are perfect and acceptable and very tradable, and everything works out. And then other times the market just won't give you those opportunities. It just will not give you the opportunities to either get long if the market's going up or get short if the market's going down. Oh, good. You did buy it down there, Maureen. Nice. Very nice. Good job. There are winter pictures are beautiful. Don't you agree? There's just something about snow and against nature, or completely covering a driveway. That's right. So this is why you have to have Don around here. I'm telling you, which way the market's going. You still lose money. Uh, he goes going up the hill in a downhill market. Can't. Yeah, that's why you have Don around. Is Mark at the beach? Funny you say that. He goes, Mark says, yeah, there you go. Mark says, do you want to take a picture of the beach? No, I don't want to take a picture of the beach. I'm sure that's gorgeous too, right? Especially blue backdrop. He just likes to tell me he's at the beach every day with his slippers or flip-flops, whatever he has over there. How many computer monitors do you have trading? I only have two. I got my platform one and my charts one. So I keep it very, very straightforward. I don't have like 10 charts up there. I mean, I know some people who have like 4 or 5 different screens up there. You only have 2 eyes. just telling you. I don't know how people like have 10 screens up there and they're looking at one, the other, and finally figure out, oh, I got a trade on now. I got to put. How do you do that? Obviously, there's some screens for information, but when I was on the floor, I would get the information from the screens up on the wall, so I didn't need. I don't need another screen for information. And anyway, you have to still take your eyes off your trading platform to look at the screen to get the information. Like when a number was released, you always had to look at the screen at the wall to get the price. So it's kind of tough if you're trading and I don't know how traders have so many screens sometimes. Our whole concept here is to keep things simple, straightforward, and let the market kind of tell you what to do instead of getting too complicated with averages and lines going across. And That's why I don't have, like, people ask me all the time, why don't you put your lines on where your levels are? I'm like, well, I mean, that could confuse people because sometimes we adjust the level, sometimes we change it. It's not etched in stone. There's nothing etched in stone here. And it's not one of those things that I say, I want you to, oh, you have to trade this area because I got a line there. That's not trading. Mark, he asked me a question. When you go fishing, how many poles do you use? Mark, the first question is, do you go fishing? Really? Seriously? Do you think I go fishing, Mark? So Don's figured out what's wrong. He goes, the ES and the YM are down, the NASDAQ is up, and he's totally confused. Totally confused. That's why he's can't figure out what's going on. Hey, I'm looking for 10. That's the only thing I'm looking for. Otherwise, I mean, you could have traded the '08 area if you were a little aggressive. Got up to 7 and change. We talked about the settlement price, and when you trade it, days like today, just in case you're wondering. Again, some of the new folks that are just stepped in, if you look at the chat box area, we're going to put the levels up here. These are levels that we've been using all day to kind of give us some direction, or at least give us some guiding, a guide to trading today. Some of these levels will get triggered, some won't. It's just opportunities are there around those areas. And when it doesn't get triggered, we have this middle of the range thing here. We have to be patient and wait for the market to kind of give us those opportunities. So this is a lesson today in being patient and listen to me talk about the beach. Somebody asked me about fishing, for heaven's sakes. I went fishing one time with my friend way long ago. And, he gives me a rod and this and that. And I'm like, okay. So I throw it into the water. I go, now what do you do? Well, he goes, you got to, like, reel it in. So I reel it in and I go, where's the fish? He goes, it's not there. He goes, you got to do it again. I go, okay, I'll do it again. And nothing happens again. I'm like, really? This is all you do? Yeah, that's all you do. So yeah, I can't say that. Did I hurt my arm? It's funny. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. So yeah, I mean, I know some people love that. They can just sit there, and I have to be patient. I am patient. I'm a very patient guy when it comes to trading. You see that. But with a fishing pole, I don't think so. I don't know. Just not my thing. All right, well, we're just kind of floating back and forth here, trying to uptick. Okay, so not to change the topic here, but did anybody see like the halftime show at the Super Bowl game? I mean, first of all, I never heard of that guy. Okay, so maybe I'm. Second of all, I heard that he paid like $7 million to have it to his own set because he didn't like what they were giving him. And honestly, he could have saved the money, but that's another story. But who? I mean, I I asked my daughters if they ever heard. Oh yeah, yeah, we know who he is. Like, never seen him before, never heard any of his songs before. I'm like, a little strange. Anyway, that was from just flipping through some stuff and it came up. Oh, I feel sorry for the Robert. You had to go to South Bend to go ice fishing. There's another good one, ice fishing. You know me and like winter sports, and then you go ice fishing. So you got two things there that I gotta love. Outside in the freezing weather, fishing. There you go. That would be perfect for me. I'd rather go to the dentist. I know I'll be done after an hour. Oh my God. Wow. I mean, that's just a wow. Of course, Don finished building a new rod yesterday. So Don goes fishing, obviously. Of course he would. I mean, how many lakes do you have on your estate there, Don, that you probably have one for each day of the week? Oh my God, Mad Dog pointed out that is going back for a while there. That's hilarious, actually, that you even said that. Yeah, I did. I had it once or twice. It was brutal. Oh, it's brutal. That stuff is terrible. Wow. So you were young and stupid also. That is, that's bad. Oh my God. Uh, no, Maureen. Maureen has an ice fishing hut on her in front of her house in Michigan. That's great. You don't have to invite me. I'm good. Good. I really am good right now. I'm starting to love this like minus 10-degree weather. I'm starting to love it. All right, we're stuck in a range trying to get to 10. Ugh, it's taking its time. You guys are really making me love this like 10-degree weather here. We're definitely. Look, my winter sports consist of going to basketball games, whether I coach them or go see kids play. That's what I do during the winter. I go from one gym to the other. Most of them are nice and warm. That's what I like to do. That's my winter sport. You were right up there, Maureen. You're right across from Canada. Wow. You are way up. No wonder you had all that snow up there. My friend just moved to Minnesota. What an idiot! And his high temperature was minus 17 in the morning the other day. Like, he crazy. Winter cross country skiing. It's got to be the same thing as skiing. Yeah, I guess it's fine. I mean, you got to like all being outside and letting that, like I said, basketball inside. The worst part about the basketball game in the wintertime for me was walking from the parking lot to the gym. That's it. We are just range bound here, trying to get to 10. Get above 8. We might get to 10. Might give us that extra little push. Only you would say that, Don. The nice thing about cold weather there is that you don't have fire ants. Okay. I'm sure Mark is like, what are fire ants? I know. I know you by now, Mark. Wow, we thought we were going to go to. You can send them. Don will send you a jar full of them. It's perfect. Send it from me and you to Don, to Mark. Mark is in California. I mean, flip flops. I mean, come on. Fur coat when it's 40 degrees. That's what he wears. I mean, come on. They don't do that in Florida, do they? No, they do. Maureen says yes, they do. All right, I'm definitely sheltered. All right, we are just trying to change this, trying to get up to 10, a little resistance up there. Just doesn't seem like it wants to do anything. It's just kind of hanging here. That is really pretty, Maureen. Very pretty. All right, nice trade there, Robert. Well, we definitely don't. I mean, obviously, we're not trading at this moment, but we definitely don't trade late afternoon. Late morning, late afternoon definitely gets a little bit, uh, you know, I mean, it gets like this in a bigger scale, unless obviously there's some news that comes out, but most of the time it's going to be very, very quiet. Not much going on. So we definitely try to stay away from the late afternoon trade, especially end of the day trade. Do I cancel orders? I mean, the only orders I would have actually would be at my levels and further away than closer. If you told me that I was going to trade anything, I'd probably use those levels uh, versus anything else. So yeah, the levels are good to, as long as they haven't been um, used, like um, like we've never traded them before. Like the O3 has already been used, so we wouldn't use that. So levels that are unique to the trade, today's trade. Yeah, you need another story. Great. I wish I could tell you some stories here. Um, I don't know. How about a good trading score? A good trading story. All right. Let me see if I can think of a good trading story for us to talk about. One related to boredom. um, well, let me see. Okay, let me see here what we can talk about that might be interesting. Uh, well, I will say that sometimes you're standing around trading and it gets quiet like this, and you're maybe you have a position on, maybe you don't. I don't know. Sometimes I would people like clear out of the pit and they just leave because they go to breakfast or what have you. And some traders love it like this, and they like to trade all day long. They like it like this with, they, I don't know if they have a position or not, but I obviously did not stay when it was getting this slow. If you didn't figure that out by now. So yeah, it gets this low. So sometimes though, maybe there's some volatility. We traded a number and I got down on the day. So it gets to the point where it's like this and I'm down and I'm staying around. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here today? And so sometimes you have a position on and there's absolutely nothing going on, and you're just sitting there, or standing there, depending on how many people have left. And if you can't sit down, sometimes you sit on the railing and just kind of wait for something to happen. But the worst part is having a position on and it slowly ticks away from you. Like one tick away, two ticks away, comes back to one tick away. You're not making any money on the trade. You just have a position on and you're like, oh, this is just not good. On top of it all, you're down money and you're like trying to talk to the neighbor next to you because he's talking, and usually it's a broker, and the brokers are not down money. They're just there to get a next fill so they can make money, right? So I'm just standing there like, oh God, why am I here? And you're dreading it. You're just dreading it. But then you're down money, so you don't. And finally, after having a position on for like 30 minutes, you finally get a couple ticks into, and you're like, oh, I have to go take some profits. Sure enough, all of a sudden it gets busy, and at that position that you held on for an hour, like babying it, watching it, just completely, and just it's like excruciatingly painful. And it finally goes your way by a couple ticks, and you're like finally happy to take some profits, and like, oh. And then all of a sudden some business comes in there and it just gets crazy, and you're like, oh my God, I just gave away all this money because I wasn't patient enough. So you think you're the only one that gets out too early? You're not. We all do the same thing, and all for different reasons. Sometimes you're just taking profits at a certain area, which is fantastic. And there was nothing wrong with that. I mean, I realized afterwards, hey, I took my profit. I'm good. Can't complain. And, that's not really a great story. It is what it is. But it does happen when those days when they get really quiet and nothing going on. Hopefully, in our situation, that we don't have any positions on, because it's really, in our, and again, that was, like I said, that was when I was trading in the pit, right? So the situation and the opportunities are a little bit different. Sometimes you have to take what the market is giving you or not, and other times, you're busy, you're standing there trading a lot. But when you're standing in here, we have the choice when you're on the screen trading, like us, not to trade. And sometimes it's like, that's right, like really a good thing. Like you can walk away. Yeah. Did I see any good fights? Oh, well, remember, fighting in the pit was always a big no-no, right? You started a fight in the pit, you got in big trouble. And if you threw a punch, you might as well. It's a $10,000 fine. I mean, you do not throw punches in the pit. That's a complete no-no. But you could say whatever you want to say about their mother or about anybody else, because it got really nasty there after a while. The verbal abuse that somebody could take, that was bad. But you better not throw a punch. And you not only do you have verbal abuses, but it's loud. I mean, and not only is it loud, but when two people go at it, they're like yelling and screaming at one another. Everybody else around, the whole pit gets quiet, and they're all listening to them yelling and screaming. So you can imagine, like, I don't know, 300-400 people hushed while two guys are yelling at each other. And then one person says something, and the whole pit goes, ah! And the other person says something, and they go, ah! It's like back and forth. It's like it could get funny. And then finally, when they get to the point where they're about to throw a punch or somebody, then two people finally get between them and say, all right, that's enough, shut up. But yeah, it definitely, you could not, you could say whatever you want to say the meanest things in the world, but you better not throw a punch. And that was it. As soon as you threw a punch, big fine, suspension. That was a big no-no. So you could you could shove and push somebody all day long, right? I'm like, so there would be some. This is a true story. There would be some ex-football players, Bears players, like who wanted to do something after they 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 were they played football and they wanted to trade because we're in Chicago and um, if you learn how to trade, it's pretty good. You can do okay, and they had a little bit of money to invest in, and so they could come in there. So these football players would walk in, and that there's this level of where you stand in the pit when you start. You don't stand on the top step with the brokers because first of all, you're not going to be trading that much, and you usually need to trade a little bit of size to be able to stand by the brokers on the top step, right? So these football players would literally come in the pit and stand on the top step and displace one of the bigger traders who's been trading there for a while, and everybody knows who the big traders are and can take size and volume, and so there's no reason to stand next to them or even buy them because they're going to be trading hundreds of lots at a time. And what are you going to be trading when you first get into on the floor? 5 lots, 10 lots at the most, and that's for a new person. That's huge, right? You don't usually do that. So yeah, so these football players literally would come and want to step on the top step, and you get some like shoving and pushing. You try to push and shove a football player. Okay, it get a little nasty, but you better not throw a punch. You could shove him and push him, and and say whatever you want to say, but you better not throw a punch. So yeah, you try shoving and pushing a big football player, and obviously the football player would stay there for an hour and create havoc around all the people around them, and then finally said, okay, I'm leaving. Then he'd leave. He'd stay to come there for a couple days, and then all of a sudden you never see the guy again. Because you're not going to be learning how to trade if you're going to be shoving and pushing just to stand in one spot. I mean, the fact that you come into pit and go down to to proper area to trade, and then you can learn. But if you go back and you just come into pit and just start, thinking that you're going to step on the top step and start trading, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I hate to tell you. So yeah, so that was always interesting when a new trader came into pit and stood in the Rocco's place, and always something to laugh about as I look back at it. And you think about that. These guys were impossible to shove around. I did not have to. They always came on the other side of the pit for me, and then I would be laughing. Did you start as a runner or a clerk? No, actually, I did not start I started as an independent trader from the start. It was cheap to lease a seat, and so I leased a seat, and I always wanted to trade. Like I said, some of you have been around. I took a futures class in school. Hang on a second. All right, sorry about that. I took a futures class in school, around, and I loved it, and so I wanted to trade for when I was even in school, and got the opportunity to when I graduated, and basically been doing that. I've been doing that since I graduated school, believe it or not. College, that is. So I've been doing this for a little bit of time. And so when I first started, I just went in there, and I'd be honest with you, when I tell you the fact that you walk into the pit and you have no idea what you're doing, and you got people yelling and screaming at you, and they were, and you're just like, you have no idea what they're doing. You have no idea. Yeah, sorry about that. So I always, yeah, they literally they throw. It was like a pack of wolves. You got thrown into the lion's den, and they were lions in there. You had to be very careful. I had no idea what I was doing. To be honest with you, I didn't even know how to bid an offer. Um, when you're trying to buy something, uh, you have to put uh, the price first, and then the quantity second. And when you're trying to sell something, you have to do the quantity first and the price second. So, for example, let's say it's trading at 03 here. I want to sell 5 at 03, right? So I have to sell 5 lot at 03. If I wanted to buy 5 lot at 3, I go 03 for 5, right? And that took me forever to figure out. I had it like written down on my card that I had to, okay, I want to buy. So I have to say, the price first, and then if I wanted to sell, I put the quantity first. So by the time I read that, registered in my brain, figured out what I wanted to do, my one lot, and put it out to the market, the market was already past me. Okay. It was already gone. And so so you have to, the lingo is important. I had no idea what the lingo was. That took me a little bit of time to learn. I mean, there is some order to the chaoticness of the pit, believe it or not. And how did I know what to buy or sell? I had no idea. I didn't know what I was doing. You just got to stand there every day and just take your lumps at the beginning until you start getting. The first thing you have to figure out is how to get the lingo right. Right. And once you get the lingo, which took about 2 weeks, believe it or not. I mean, I was like, no, I had no idea. And you had to stick to one lots. And I mean, and I had, I remember, I lost, I had like 5 losing trades in a row every day. Good thing I kept them to one lots, until I tried to figure it out. And the first time I traded a 5 lot, I was like so nervous. So nervous. Traded the 5 lot. I actually made money on it. I made 2.5 ticks on a 5 lot in the bond bid. That's about $375. It made my day. So that was like made my day. It was a 5 lot. I was nervous as hell. Nervous as hell. Yeah. But how long did you before you became profitable? Well, I was. They told me, the people at my firm, because I mean, I don't know. They told me that it took me only 3 months before I started making money, and that they said that's like pretty good for a new person to start making money in 3 months. But again, it just took a little. Did you have a mentor? No, I did not have a mentor or a backer. Uh, Nobody. They literally kind of just. I mean, I knew people in the industry who helped me get. Get. You needed to go through a process to get on to become a member, and even to lease a seat, you had to have a. There was a process that you had to go through to get set up. So we went through that process, and so you needed a couple traders that you knew. So we had that, but they were trading other pits. And they told me that I should go to the bond pit to trade, because at that time it was the up and coming pit, with a lot of volume, a lot of people trading it, and this is where you want to go in there and start your career, because that's the place to be. Oh yeah. Basically said that if you can trade the bond pit, you can trade any pit. Thanks for telling me that afterwards. Not teaching me anything beforehand. I mean, they didn't even teach me nothing. They didn't teach me, how to buy or sell or anything. All right. So if you were a little aggressive, and if you were, or you got paid off, the settlement price there worked very nicely for you. It did get up to right to 8 and change, and that is one of our trades that we like to do. What was the S&P like back then? Well, the S&P was first of all, it was trading at the Merc, and we were at the Board of Trade, and it was 2 different buildings, and maybe about half a mile away from each other. And I heard that I had a friend of mine who was a broker in that pit, and they traded. It was crazy. It was crazy back, and you know what? It wasn't really as crazy as it is now. And when you had, like I said, if you had a 40, I mean, you have to remember that the S&Ps, the Dow was trading at what, 2,000-3,000, right? It wasn't trading at almost 30 plus thousand. So when you have a 500-point day in the Dow, that's 20% or 25% of the Dow price. I mean, that's like having 6,000-point down day, and which is not going to happen. But so you got to remember that the differences in volatility is a lot greater now than it was back then. If you had a 10, 12 point, 20 point range in the S&Ps, that was a big day. But the S&Ps were trading at 1,090, something like that, or 1,000, less than 1,000. I don't know, whatever it was. I have no idea. But my point is that, if you had a 20 or 30 or 40 point move in the S&P, that was huge. That was a huge day. So it's relative, and so you could have traded the S&Ps in a tight range of big S&Ps, and it was a crazy pit. They had that was also the biggest pit in the Merc at the time. We had the biggest pit at the Board of Trade at the time, which was the bond pit, and the S&P pit at the Merc was the biggest pit that they had there when the big S&P, and there wasn't minis. There were no minis. Minis were a commodity for electronic trading. So they came up with, and they keep coming up with different markets to trade for electronic trading, because one, it's easier to come up with these things. To implement them, you just need the institutions to say that they're going to trade it, and they do. This market, the minis, was a big hit because to trade the S&P, the big S&P, you had to have 5 times more the amount of money. And when things got a little bit more volatile, as you can see, we're kind of breaking down here. The 08 worked very nice. Really, the support level would be down at 92. If you think I'm not looking, I am. Coming back down here to our pivot. Looks like it's a little bit, if you're going to take it, trade it small. But the point is that they keep coming out with new instruments to trade because it's easier to trade to put them out there. But you need the institutions to say that they're going to trade it, that there's going to be some institutional support there for that market as we're bouncing here off of our pivot area. If you did take it there just a little. All right. Just have to trade it small. First rotation back to the pivot, usually a decent opportunity. If you did partake, again, you don't have to trade it big. You can trade it small and make a little bit of money on this little bounce here. This is what we waited for an hour and a half to get this trade. Anyway, but that was a possible trade, like I mentioned, just when it got down there. The only reason I mentioned it is because I got filled, and then all of a sudden my screen like lit up, like, hey, you got filled. I go, what did I get filled? Got distracted for just a second. So I had the order in there, obviously, right? You had the order in there before it gets back down to that level. It doesn't matter if it's the pivot or if it's a level, your orders are in place already prior to the market getting to that point, and then you got to trade it after. All right, so so then they come up now. So they came up with the minis, and now they have the micros. Like, I mean, what's smaller than a micro? I'm sure they'll come up with some kind of word for that too. But yeah, so it's a little easier for people to start trading, and obviously, once the Board of Trade and the Merck merged, and then they became a stock, and the bottom line became the issue of how you're going to make more money. So all of that stuff. Yeah, we got along there at the 98 for a quick scalp. Yeah, so then they're more interested in the bottom line and making more commissions than anything else, which I understand on their end, but from the trader standpoint of view, it just seems like they keep adding on and tacking on more fees here and there, which bothers me because if you've been trading for a while, you shouldn't be. It doesn't matter. Traders should not be paying all these fees, but I guess that's how they make money. So it became more institutionalized than anything else. That it used to be much easier to. Well, when they weren't worried about the bottom line, it was, it was a fun place to trade. But anyway, so we digress a little bit. You wanted pit stories, you wanted stories. There you got them. As we waited for this little rotation down here, well, again, we had, if you were a little aggressive, maybe you took the resistance up there against the settlement price, a little aggressive. You would probably have to do the settlement price and the 10, obviously, since they were close together. That's you would have been your scale. And then we drifted down here. Could if you were a little aggressive, maybe had a sale there below the 02, looking for a rotation down here. Again, if you're a little aggressive based on the price action. You heard that back in the day, the only way you got to trade in the S&P pit was to have a family member or a very close friend get you in. Actually, that wasn't in the S&P pit. That's true, but it was in the cattle market. Cattle market was a very close-knit group of guys that traded with themselves. It wasn't so much. The S&P pit was very big. The S&P pit was as big as the bond pit. So if you wanted to go and trade, actually, you probably would go to the S&P pit because there was a lot of liquidity. It was moving around, and there was a lot of volume, and there was no problem getting a trade in the S&P pit. But the cattle market, that was a little bit different. Those were the guys that actually, um, uh, those were the guys that you needed to know someone to trade. Right. So I will tell you that's true, but you got the wrong pit. And it is true. I had a friend of mine who actually traded in there, and he legitimately told me that this is what they do. If you walk in there and you have no idea who you are, and if you don't, you're SOL, baby. It's terrible. It's terrible. You pay your dues, and sometimes what would happen is some big trader, because he knew that was the game, would go in there and start trading. And how do you start trading with a new guy? You just give up an edge. Like if I wanted, what is an edge? Let's say the market right now is trading at 99. I want to come in here. I want to sell 300 at 98. Who's not going to buy them? Right? If I come in there and say I want to sell 398, you would buy them. You'd buy them because the market's trading at 99. All right. And you would sell them at 99 right away. So yeah, so a new guy could come in there, and if you're going to give up an edge, I want to sell 398. Who would not say sold to that? Everybody here would say sold. And so that's how you can go in there and start trading, but you have to give up an edge. So that's the thing. You don't want to do that. Not going to make too much money doing that. It's just like guessing which way. I mean, unless you're, again, if you're an institution and you want to take a position, then they don't care. But I understand. Like I said, once it became a stock, the whole atmosphere around the exchanges changed. So whether they gave away stock or not is absolutely irrelevant to me. You just don't trade the people who made you give that stock up, or made you have the availability to give that stock. We were there for a long time. Then we were the ones that gave them the ability to have that stock available to the public, and they treated us like shit. So it don't matter if they gave us stock or not. That to me is not. I guess I've been there too long. That's the problem. And guess what? I'm still here. All right. So we drift down here again. You could have made a point there to get short below 02 if you were a little aggressive. Then you could have bought that 98 area there, the first rotation back to the pivot. I obviously would not buy it in now. I'm not buying it now. Next level support we have is down at 92 with maybe a possible test at a 95 there with that spike low. But it's also getting late afternoon, which is kind of an interesting time for this thing to make a move. So be a little bit careful because some of the traders are gone. Time for breakfast at the beach. All right, you do that, Mark. Don't get too much sand and between your toes when you come back. Sure, it's a problem. Take it easy. Have a good one. Talk to you tomorrow. He's out of here. There's our levels again, printed in the chat box area for you, in case you missed them. They are right there. All right. All right. So again, be a little bit careful there around the 95. We have our level, next level down and downside is 92. Right now we've got some resistance around the 04, 03 area. If we get above 6, you want to be out of any shorts. And get back here in a bit.
Hey, Saul, thank you. Hey, a couple quick programming notes for those that are coming in for the first time or second time. You're coming in as guests. Welcome aboard. The focus here is on trading the S&P 500 E-mini based on a price action trading strategy that Saul has developed and honed over the last 25 years or so. This is a service. It's a opportunity based on that service. It is a monthly service. It's nominally priced. The levels of opportunity is coming in as a guest, starting to understand you want to be here on a daily basis as you are focusing on scalping the market, trading the S&P 500 E-mini as a business or as a serious hobby, I would say. The deliverables based on the monthly are, well, start out with the opportunity to come into the Zoom room. There's a series of 3 charts in a separate chart window. Saul has a particular way of trading. It starts out with setting a roadmap, and part of that roadmap is Saul's proprietary scalping levels, which is part of his deliverable in the service. He gives them out to everybody in audio, and you can ask for a repeat, and they just posted them again in there. Thank you, Mark. So the opportunity here is to really focus on Saul's areas or zones, looking to do 2, 3, 4, 5 trades during the morning session based on that roadmap. Remember, Saul is giving you information that he is utilizing in his trades, and this is a taught opportunity. So start out in simulation only, focus on the action of price in and around Saul's levels. And I think the first level of belief here and whether Saul is good at what he does, I mean, he's been down on the trading floor, has a private booth down there. He's not down there right now because of the pandemic. I'm not sure if it's going to open up again, but it certainly could. They're making a lot of adjustments in the background. Having said that, Saul is here. He's a veteran of trading. He's currently at risk based on his trades, and he is here to help you focus, identify areas, and then learn how to put trades on in and around those areas whether it's a momentum trade, a long trade, or a fade trade, a short trade. Saul's looking to scalp, which means that he's not in for long based on his trades. He could be in a little longer depending on how the trade is doing. He's looking for a minimum trading profit on his trades of 2 points plus. That's a minimum trading profit on each trade of 2 points plus. He has a general stop of 2 points, but that'll expand based on market action and activity. His profit target may expand also, depending on market action, activity, momentum, and follow through. And trading the S&P 500 E-mini is a unique product. It's highly liquid. It's been around for a long time. It represents a basket of 500 stocks. And it moves, we hope, where we can capture that minimum of 2 points plus based on the trades. So right now it's like almost 11:30 a.m. on Tuesday, February 9th, 2021. Everything we do is for educational purposes only. Nothing is to be taken as direct trading advice. This is a taught experience that takes time and effort and practice and focus on and discipline around the areas that Saul's laying out for himself so that you can have a leg up on other individuals that are also trading the market and looking to make money. And since trading is a zero sum game, which means that for you to make money, you got to be good enough to take the money from somebody else who's not quite as good as you are based on their trading versus your trading. So this is the Zoom room, if you will, the intense focus and the opportunity to develop consistent profitability is here on a daily basis. So for those that are new, welcome. Got a few people that came in. Hey, Corey, welcome. HD, I got the message. Hey, Maureen. I don't think I shouted out to you before. Michael, Navid, Holdy. Tim M, welcome back from yesterday. Robert S. Michael M. And I think that's it. Hey, Anupam, how are you? Welcome. Maureen, how's everybody doing? Hey, Chad, Dean, Biger. Hey, Don J, Frank, Glenn, KG, Kurt, Pedro. Hey, Peter O. Robert B. Hey, Ron, Roop, and Timothy V. So, Michael, we do everything in here. I'll send you out the link for that rate I sent you. It's very simple. You just come in here. You know, we have a website that just drives people into the Zoom room. You can look it up on pitiq.tv. It's pit, P-I-T, IQ.tv. Pit, you know, short pit, IQ, intelligence.tv, if you want to look it up. Let me know if you get there. Sometimes, you know, you never know what's going on in the back end these days. I'm wondering whether I should pre-order my Starlink to put on top of my car. I'm surprised that XM doesn't have a Starlink type situation. XM radio or Sirius radio. I'm not sure what it is anymore. So Corey, let us know what you're trading. Now, if you haven't signed up for Sol's Monthly, raise your hand and I can send it out to you. I did send it out to a couple of people already, so just let me know. You don't want to miss out. Anybody wants to talk about Sol's intensive, his direct mentoring? When you become a monthly subscriber, a part of the family, then we can have those conversations. We can also have a trading consultation with you. For those that are coming on the outside, come in on the inside. The water's fine. You can also go to pitiq.tv. and come on down. So anybody needs trading software, let us know. If anybody wants to change brokers, let us know. There's a lot of little tricks that you may want to know based on the relationship here. If you're new to trading, absolutely sign up for your monthly because you have a leg up over the people that are out there trying to find it elsewhere. And if you've been trading for a while and you really want to buckle down and do those 2, 3, 4, 5 trades and be able to leave your trading space, go out and do something else, then you've come to the right place. If you haven't made your money coming into this time frame today, then reach out. We'll be glad to look to work with you. Remember, there is a method to the madness when it comes to trading. There are days when you should trade. There are days where you shouldn't trade. There are periods of time during the day where you shouldn't trade, in our humble opinion. So I think it's important for you to A, understand that, and B, work it into your trading plan. Trading, they say when the market opens, your trading plan goes out the window. And that's true. There are people that spend all night working on their trading plan and they come in and they realize that it was all for naught because the market has its own idea. So we look for after. So, what's the difference between what we do and what they do? And it's interesting because we look at the after the cash open scenario. And that's, part of what the opportunity in here is to how to focus on what you need to focus and not pay attention to the other noise that's out there that can not only distract you, but it costs you money. It costs you exposure. Exposure for your risk capital to the market when you're not prepared. And that's a bad thing. So anyway, so that's what we do. That's what the opportunities are. It's up to you to take action. This is your deal. This is your trading. It's your trading money. And I think that that's also key is that this is your capital, your time. You've got to pick where to spend it. You also got to pick where not to spend it, right? So we invite you to spend it here. So I'll be in the background if anybody needs me. We're coming into 11:36. Sal's on a little bit of a break. Remember, Sal is trading and scalping like you. He's also teaching based on his intensive traders personally and privately. So he could do anything right now. If you want to be part of it, just let us know. First, join the monthly. That's it's the best part. Become part of the family. Wow, you're setting yourself up, Pedro. It's funny what you're witnessing on a daily basis is in hearing. Saul has got it all exposed, so I think it's important for you to know that. Like when you get his levels, you're receiving his levels ahead of time. So you're receiving his levels like right now it's 11:38. You receive Saul's levels right around the cash open at 9:30 Eastern time. Now, if those levels weren't any good, you would be pretty quick to pick up on that. And that's for everybody out there. Saul is giving you information to show whether, well, he's not giving you information to show how good he is, okay? He's giving you information and you can tell if he's any good or not. So I think that's really critical for this conversation is that if Saul's levels are any good, then you would think that Saul's pretty good. His commentary based on the action of price, if you're picking up on that, which is great, there's a lot of information in there. So, one of the things that I think is also critical is that, this isn't easy. Trading is, as they say, is the simplest, hardest thing to do because of the access that we have or individuals have based on trading software. I call trading software, in my opinion, a false friend because it lulls you in and it also sucks you in to trades you shouldn't be doing because it's so compelling, because it makes sense, it's logical. It's built full of lagging stuff. It's giving you a glimpse, in most cases, in my opinion, a glimpse of what happened past, not happening future. And the happening future part happens pretty fast. So you have to be disciplined, I would say schooled and practiced at being able to do that. I call it with the price action trading, wrestling the market for a short period of time and getting out from the sideline with your money. And having done that, thank your lucky stars and go off and do something else. If you can do that on a consistent basis, you have a business. But there's no question that, you know, orderly chaos is what's going on. And you've got to be able to get in and get out with your money. And that's what he works on for himself here. And he looks to help you do the same if you so choose. We talk about Zoom prison. But what Zoom prison is for people that come in and take advantage and don't pony up, at least the nominal fee. And when they get exited, they end up in Zoom prison. Well, it's interesting. Trading. Yeah, God, it's so hard not to be emotional and not to delude yourself into. So let's say you don't have any idea what you're doing, and you sit down in front of standardized software, and you set yourself up an account. You get the real time data. You put together a chart. You do your order entry. You know, and you've got your nest egg or not forget I said nest egg, okay? Because you can't be trading with your nest egg. You got to be trading with risk capital that you've set aside, okay? That is, if you lost that money, you would not worry about it. That's what and you do that with your broker. When you sign up for trading, you've got to commit, right? That you've got the means to trade and that this isn't like your lunch money, okay? Or your house money or your apartment money or whatever. So that's between you and your broker. You got to understand the risks of trading. And if you don't understand it, don't trade. But now let's say you got all your money up and you want to trade. Well, everybody, think of just visualize how many people are sitting in front of their computers trying to make a living at something, and then they pick trading, and then they got to figure out their trading instrument. Now, people got beat up in GameStop based on the equity side of the industry. Now you got Bitcoin going wacky, and some of the big names are getting into it, and I think they're market influencers, and they're market influencers for themselves. They're not doing that for the altruistic. I want to help the common man routine. When you can get in and have the Bitcoin go up $10,000 because your name is in it, and you already bought a billion for, and I think we heard that they were been buying it before. That is a yeah, you don't know if he's still in it right now. He could be a billion four out. 10,000. I don't even know what that is. Is that a lot of money? Can somebody run that number? That's a crazy number, right? I don't even know how to get there. I don't think my calculator's big enough. Of course, I forgot to put the C in to find my app. So if I can do 1 point, I don't even know how to freaking do this. Oh, there it goes. Stops me out. I can go to 140 million. How can that be? Would I have to turn it sideways? Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, I had to turn it sideways. There we go. I don't even know what won't even work. Does anybody have the number? I'm losing my mind here. Oh, that's interesting. That's a very nice commentary, Peter Pedro. In the past 6 days, I've seen 20 to 40 point opportunities between his levels. That's interesting. That's good news. Wow. You're saying that's each day. That's interesting too. Well, he does have a number of levels in there, but it's, what you can capture based on your entries, exits, and stops, right? So, Michael M., do you have any further questions about Saul's opportunity here? Now make sure everybody has something for their Valentine's. Your Valentine's Day's coming up. I got to go out and make it happen myself. I'm so caught up at home. I got to come up with something good. You know what I've been doing a lot is bringing home live plants. Something that lives beyond the 7-day flower cycle, which I think is interesting. And that's why, because you're home all the time, right? You got to be one with nature on the inside. So anyway, let me know how I can help anybody. Yeah, they are beautiful. But don't throw a snake in that aquarium. I'd have to run. Not a big fan of snakes. Even when I was a kid, I used to like to look for snakes and catch them when I was at camp. But now, no thank you. David, what am I sending to you? The monthly? Okay, that's out to you now. Anybody else want the monthly while I'm here? Michael, Oldie, Tim, Tim M. Going once, going twice. Oh, we got another taker. We're back at going once, going twice. Just raise your hand, I'll send it to you. Boy, Tim, I was just walking out, but now I got you. So I sent it out to you, Tim. I almost missed you. David, I don't know what that means. Yeah, but you're talking pips, man. You can't be talking pips here. Pips is for currency. David, you're like way off. You've got to you need to get your account set up. You need to have a conversation with your broker. You need to understand the risks of trading. They will help you based on the points, but you have to start out as you were doing forex before. Now you're coming into a new arena, and you really have to understand what you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it. I don't know your particular situation, so I don't want to fill you with He doesn't. Saul does not like to sell people because I have found, this is just me, is if you have to sell individuals on doing something, usually doesn't work out. What happens here is that people come in and they find Saul, they spend a day with him, and they're like, I got to hang with this guy. There's not much selling going on. Paying the nominal fee, is so nominal that it really shouldn't be any sale at all. But hey, yeah, no, I think you've got to, you got to take the time. I mean, do you have an S&P 500 E-mini chart up? Are you on simulation only? Do you know what a point represents in the S&P 500 E-mini? Like if you make 1 point in the S&P 500 E-mini, how much money have you made? And again, if you lose 1 point, how much money did you lose against all your fees? That's an important one. So then you know the 20-point thing, right? If you know that, then you know that already. You don't have to ask us that. See, the thing is that, you can't promise people anything. And you can't even imply that because, people are people. Yeah, so margin requirements and, risk and the risk associated with trading, you have to get from your broker, the one you signed up for, based on what you're doing. That is critical to the opportunity to trade. You got to know what you're in for because how do you learn? Some people say they learn by losing money, but don't you want to know how much money you're losing? And how do you make, what change do you make based on your trading, if you're not doing that? What change? Every day is an opportunity to tighten up your craft. Every day is a day to have an answer, a question answered based on what's missing. And the market is fluid. It's dynamic. So there's a lot of questions that you can have. And as Saul says, questions are good. Questions based on the reality of what happened. Yeah, and when you talk to him, Pedro, about margin, there's a couple different margin issues. One is intraday margin, and one is overnight margin. So those are two different things, but you have to inquire about that. And Tim, let me know how you made out with your sign up so I can authorize you in the background because it rolls over. You want it to roll over the right way. Yeah, no, I know. You told me. So every day is different. There's no cookie cutter based on how much you can make trading. It's a battle on a daily basis. If you make $100, um, should be happy. If you can learn how to make $100 consistently, then you can raise your contract size based on the reality of the new risk. But there's really no, I mean, Sol will tell you, there's no average because every day is different. You go through a dry spell, you could go through an increased revenue spell. It just depends. Yeah, so the industry is taking risk off. So some brokers, different firms are adding margin requirements. Look what happened to Robinhood. I think they raised like for margin requirements a billion something in a short period of time. I don't know if that story's correct, but that's what I heard. And then you know, they basically screwed everybody. But that's my opinion, my humble opinion. And I don't think they, deserve to be in business doing that. That's why it's interesting. Saul said the other day that he thought that the ES couldn't be run by a group of gamers, one way or the other. I, he knows better than I do. I don't know either way. But again, it's the margin requirements. You have to have the ability to do it and the ability to hold on to it. And the margin is significant, for holding. When you get in the money, it's a different thing. I'll leave that answer to the gods there, Pedro. So anyway, so welcome. Let's know how we can help. And looking forward to seeing everybody the next time around. Again, if you're coming in from the outside, come into the inside, join us live in Zoom. Right now it's 11:59, clicking on 12 noon East Coast. So look for the link. Also, I can just give you the link. It's www.pitiq.tv.